itself quite the accomplishment, because what you don't want is untrained people showing up, right? People that's the worst thing we can do.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this moving forward because, again, this is an administrative ordinance. Again, I think we've addressed morale out there, budget, all of that, so.
Wait, one more
Yes.
comment. I would say, this station, back when it was built, it didn't have any bedrooms or bunk rooms. I mean, they took some offices and storage and made them the bunk rooms. And from there, I mean, you improved it a lot, but it's still not what it needs to be. And we're still limited, so doing this will really help get it up to code and get it like anywhere else, which will definitely help morale.
Awesome. All right.
So with that, I'm making a motion we suspend the rules and move to a second reading.
All right.
Second.
All right, got a motion from Alderman Turner to suspend the rule on Council Bill 99 and move it to a second reading with a second from Alderman Fouch. Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye?
Alderman Fouch,
Aye.
Alderman Mills,
Aye.
Alderman Franklin,
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff,
Aye.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Cheney,
Aye.
Alderman Davidson is excused.
All right, thank you, Chief. We appreciate all
so
that you
much.
do out there, for sure. Council Bill 99 is now ordinance 36. Oh, I'm sorry, second reading.
An ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Harrisonville amending the operating budget for the City of Harrisonville, Missouri for the fiscal year January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2023, and establishing an effective date.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Mills,
Aye.
Alderman Cheney,
Aye.
Alderman Fouch,
Aye.
Alderman Franklin,
Aye.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Davidson is excused.
All right, now Council Bill 99 is ordinance 3672. Another administrative, Council Bill 100.
An ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Harrisonville amending section 660.010 of the Harrisonville Municipal Code and establishing an effective date. Brad, I can speak about this one if you want.
Yes, sir.
This is regarding video service provider fees, and this is a law that slipped under my radar, and Brad mentioned it. It was passed in 2021, and previously cities were allowed to charge up to 5% of the gross receipts from video service providers that operate within the city. And so the new law actually has a stair step down from 5% to 2.5% in 2027, which just means that the video service providers have a pretty good lobbyist. So come to find out, the city was actually cutting these providers a deal. We only charged up to 3%. This amendment would jump us all the way up to 4.5%, which is the most we can charge this year, 4% in 2024, 3.5% in 2025, and so on and so forth until you get to 2027, where we're charging 2.5%. So kudos to Brad for pointing this out. This slipped by Steve and I, and this is truly administrative, so we can get this on the books, and so that way we can start charging these video service providers the right amount and get as much of these fees as we can for as long as we can.
Will that be effective from now until the, or what, is it, it's not retroactive?
It's not retroactive now, and the effective date of this ordinance is tonight if it is passed. And it's my understanding that we only collect these revenues every quarter, so we should be able to start collecting the 4.5% in this final quarter of 2023.
Add to that.
Charge them as much as we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to give you all my stump speech about the legislature basically told the residents of Harrisonville that the property that they own and that these video service providers are using because it's cheaper instead of getting their own easement, they have thumbed their nose at the taxpayers and said that they have sided with these video service providers. Because I'd like to know how many legislators that own property that have acreage, because my dad runs a cattle farm, and if we're gonna start deciding how much people can charge for their land, then I'd like to go to those legislators' houses and I'd start bringing some cattle there to start utilizing it. Because they basically have said to every resident in the state of Missouri, if you all recall this South Sewer project, you all approved the funding in 2020. We just started the construction just a few months ago. It's because it has taken us this long to negotiate with property owners, use appraisers, use attorneys, and all that we've had to pay because it is expensive to get easement and right-of-way. It's very expensive because of property rights. I don't have no problem with that. But I do have a problem with the legislature stepping in because these video service providers lobbied them and probably gave them campaign funds to basically tell the residents of Harrisonville and every resident in Missouri that your property is going to be limited in what we say you can rent your property or lease your property out. So when they talk to you about property rights, remind them it depends on who's paying them. Off my soap.
Okay. Any other questions?
This
concerns?
ticks me off.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
They want to do away with them completely. I mean, they just think they shouldn't have to pay at all and use our right-of-ways. We have no control. Who goes in, how they go in. I mean,
And that's the key to it, is that we're paying big money, we're paying good money, the citizens are paying good money for these easements and right-of-ways. We should be able to charge them to come in.
But they don't
We've
have any
paid-
problem raising your weights or blocking out a channel where they're having a dispute, so you can't watch the station anymore.
Or not provide
Well,
very
it's-
good
it started-
service. to
This
begin
started
with.
as a slippery slope back in, if you all recall, the local municipalities used to negotiate even the contracts for these service providers. And the legislature took that away back in around 2008 because they went and said that the cities were asking them to negotiate too much. So now it's went from that to now, their exact words are, it doesn't cost the cities that much to mow the right-of-way. Well, how many of you have been I've been dealing with some of you that are complaining about Miller Pipeline with Spire tearing up all of our sidewalks, our curbs, and our streets, because as you know, right-of-way of the city is not just mowing the side of the road. And even if it was mowing just side of the road, what is it to them? Because the taxpayers own it, and if they want to dictate what somebody is paying to use their property, then they should be given that authority.
All right. Any other questions,
Very
comments?
frustrating.
If not, this is an administrative ordinance.
Make a motion to suspend the rule and take it to a second reading.
All right. You got a motion from Alderman Dorhoff to suspend the rule on Council Bill 100, and a second from Alderman Milner. Roll call, please.
Alderman Dorhoff,
Aye.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Mills,
aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Franklin,
Aye.
Alderman Fouch,
Aye.
Alderman Cheney,
Aye.
Alderman Davidson is excused.
Second reading.
An ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Harrisonville amending section 660.010 of the Harrisonville Municipal Code and establishing an effective date.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Mills,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Cheney,
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff,
Aye.
Alderman Franklin,
Aye.
Alderman Fouch,
Aye.
Alderman Milner,
Aye.
Alderman Davidson is excused.
All right, Council Bill 100 is now ordinance 3673. Moving on to Alderman and committee reports. We'll start with Alderman Milner.
I just have a couple of things. We were talking earlier about the VIPs and how much they participate. And it's interesting to me how strong they are right now, considering several years ago, we had a mayor that wanted to get rid of our VIPs. So kudos to those guys for sticking around and doing such a great job. Second shout out goes to the fire department because I looked out my window Sunday morning and realized the great big fire truck and the ambulance were out in front of my neighbor's house who had a gas leak or carbon monoxide leak. And they are from out of town. They moved here from, I think, the Lee Summit area. And they just could not believe how professional and courteous and informational that our staff was when they came and how much they helped them. And so they gave a real big shout out to the group around our neighborhood for everybody. So kudos to you guys.
Awesome. Alderman Dorhoff, thank you.
I can't improve on that. I've got nothing.
All right, Alderman Fauch.
I just want to mention that I'm also on the Harrisonville Square Neighborhood Redevelopment Board. Is that the right name of it? 353 Board. So we've had a couple of meetings, and we're starting to get our act together, and with Christina's help and we've got a good board, and we're moving ahead, and our next meeting, I think, is November 1st, so we're starting to put some meat on the bones of that program.
Thank you for that, for updating us on that. Alderman Turner.
This Saturday is the Harrisonville Royal Regiment Marching Band's open invitational. It's our annual event. There's gonna be a lot of bands there. If you're bored or wanna get out in town and come listen to bands all day, it's this Saturday at the middle school. That's it.
All right, thank you, sir. Alderman Mills.
Good to go. Pass.
All right. Alderman Franklin.
I too will pass.
Passing. Alderman Cheney, we're already over to you.
I guess going along with things that people are doing for the community, for me, it's also a big thing to see people reach out, get involved, and take some of the stresses off the city government by getting involved themselves and doing things that they don't have to do. To spotlight one of the businesses that has contributed and given to our schools. I hope they don't get upset about it, but Hunter Pride Construction providing funding for our elementary schools. Companies like this, private associations or companies that give to the community, I think those are huge, and would like to applaud anybody that gives of their own free will to make Harrisonville and the students better. So, and then also I'm beginning, I don't know anybody watches this, but beginning the Elks coach drive for the kids. So if anybody's got deep pockets here that want to donate, I'll take some.
He's looking at me like I got deep pockets.
I believe, you know, I'm new to this, but I believe my words are to be directed to the.
No, you're good, you're good. I'm just giving you a hard time. But no, thank you for that, Alderman Cheney, and for
Directed
keeping
toward
us
the chair.
updated on that. Because there are a lot of community organizations that do a lot for our students and children that are in need. We got a lot of need in this city, so we appreciate that. City Administrator report.
So remember the Harrisonville Alliance meeting this Wednesday, 6 o'clock on the third floor conference room of the Old County Courthouse. The stream cleanup is on the 21st. South Commercial Extension, we received the final schedule, and the completion for that project is to be June 30th of 2025. I made sure that from Carl that was right, because I thought, it's interesting, that's the end date. We don't have the beginning date, but the end date is they got to be done by June 30th of 2025. South Service Area Sanitary Sewer Projects continue to move forward. 10-inch gravity main manholes have been delivered. Royal Extension Project had our kickoff meeting on the 3rd, have another meeting tomorrow on the 17th. Lake Harrisonville Spillway Intake Structure Improvements Project. I don't know if you all have seen some of the pictures that we sent through on that. It is a major project, and that's going on. And then the Ash Street Town Creek Improvement Project, plan to have utility coordination meeting on the 19th. The James Street to Blueberry Storm Water Project, about 8% complete on, or 30% complete on engineering drawings. The staff is reviewing. Becker Dyke Storm Project. We have 4 RFQs that we're looking through. We gave a notice to proceed to HDR Engineering on the lead service line inventory project. As you know, this is being mandated by the federal government to do this inventory on the water lines, and we got the grant to help pay for that. Log Cabin Festival from the street department didn't have any incidents, and everything went fine with them. They also have been doing the bridgehead and storm route culverts cleaning throughout town since the last rain event. The citywide cleanup days, we had about 186 loads of trash. And then we had on the fall brush drop-off, our costing was close to around $9,000 for that, for the 93 loads. City staff are cleaned the first clarifier basin. Second basin was cleaned on the 9th. And if you know that people talk about the water and the tasting of water, they clean those basins every quarter. And as you all know, that we have the project out for the 2 clarifier dome basin covers to be, proposals are due on the 31st. Once those are placed in there, that'll save us about $63,000 a year that we spend on cleaning those basins. And then we have a sewer collapse problem over on Oakville, and the CWSS was able to jet that line to keep it from clogging, but it is collapsed, and we're doing a quick RFP to get that done by a company to come in. It's about 300 feet of possible line replacement that we have to get completed. Police department, mainly one complaint that someone thought there should be more police officers walking around the carnival at the Log Cabin Festival, but we did have 2 police officers for that. And then we had some complaints about parade rules, about throwing frisbees and throwing candy. And then they completed their alcohol checks. And then the fire department, similar to what Alderman Milner brought forward, is they're getting a lot of calls about odors, and reminding everyone to purge their meters on the warm days and cool nights. And then animal shelter is open as of 13th. We want to compliment those ladies for the hard work. They looked like those NASA people going in with all of their gear and everything. They did a great job on that. The staff is working on the remaining hazardous materials from the old electric and water building. We're hoping to get scheduled for the pickup and disposal of that. Hopefully this next month be able to say we've got a date on when we're tearing it down. So we'll make sure we keep you all abreast of that. And with that, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Sir, questions from the media? No questions from the media. All right, I'm just going to wrap it up with a few things. First off, I wanted to congratulate Alderman Matt Turner for his election to the president of the MML. We hadn't done that publicly yet. For some reason, I was thinking that was officially happening here at the end of this month, but from talking to him, it has already officially happened in September. I think you said the 23rd, correct? So congratulations to that, sir. We appreciate it. Yep. And with that, Log Cabin Festival, I did go out to the parade, and I can tell you, walking around out there, talking to different people, great event. It sounds like this is probably one of the bigger events it's been in. Now, I'd heard, I haven't confirmed it from anybody, that the parade was probably the biggest parade that we've had. It was good to see a lot of the local businesses and companies from here in Harrisonville that had floats out there. But great parade, and people were talking about it. Not just the parade, but they were also talking about the attendance and people coming out and participating in that, because there was a big crowd. They didn't just come out for the parade. They hung out. They walked around to the vendors. All of that. So it was a really good time, a great day for it too. We couldn't have asked for a better day, I don't think, to have that and for that to come off as well as it did. And I'll go back to it. I don't think, Lieutenant, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there were any major incidents or anything that happened. I talked to, forget who it was I talked to, and asked if we had had any major issues, and there was nothing major that had come through, which I think is pretty good given the crowd that we had. And you guys do a great job with that. We appreciate it. And so, yeah, complaints, I think not enough police officers. It sounds like we had what we needed out there for that, and I'm sure Chief and yourself or anybody from the police department's gonna let us know if we need to put more out there, so. We do appreciate that as well. As far as people throwing, I know that's a big thing Chief Ofer doesn't like is, hey, you can't be throwing candy from the float. You gotta walk out and hand it out. I will, go ahead, were you gonna say something?
This is my second one that I've been able to participate in, and this year there were a lot less people throwing candy than there was last year. So I was very, very happy with that. A lot of people walking over and handing it out. That was good.
Yeah.
So it's overall just a great event. You know, we didn't really have any issues, and look forward to doing it next year. It's one of the many things that makes Harrisonville.
And that's what a lot of people were saying. We had people that were here from out of town that I was able to talk to as well that were like, this is great, this is awesome. This is what a small town festival should look like. So, yeah, great. Hats off to you guys for great job. Everybody on staff. I know there's a lot that goes into that and making sure that we're covered as a city and doing good. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I forgot to mention, there's another community event coming up. We approved the Pearl Street trick or treat, but maybe Grant has reported on this, but trunk or treat is coming up Sunday, October 29th from 3 to 5 on the square. Thank you guys for helping us with that. But I think we've had as many as 2,000 people bring their, kids walking around the square, and the trunks. If you haven't been to this event, you need to go. It's really great. So we'll have the Rotarians out there and maybe some people from Parks and Rec. But I don't know how many years this is, but it's been going on for probably 15 years or so.
And it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a
yeah.
big deal, it is, and we appreciate that.
But somebody said there's a Chiefs game that afternoon, so I don't know.
I bet you'll still have some takers out there.
I bet you could watch it in headquarters
Well,
Yep,
Yeah.
so,
in which, even if you show
And I
up
would be-
early, it's not early.
I was gonna say, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the streets department.
Yep.
Because we would not have been able to do what we did on Saturday without the streets department as well. Jonathan Barnett, we worked hand in hand, him and I did, and it was without a hitch. So I wanna make sure that they get some credit for that.
no, thank you, and that, you're exactly right, because they were out there. They were moving barriers, putting up barriers, they were making sure everything ran off without a hitch, and it did. It was a great event, and people throwing frisbees, hey, I seen that. I didn't see anybody throwing candy from a float or anything, but they were throwing frisbee, but they were walking around, and they were throwing them on the ground, making sure they got over there, so the kids didn't have to come out and grab them or anything, so.
I will say, this year, I did not have I didn't have to duck for a frisbee like I did last year. So that is improvement.
Okay, all right.
But
All
thank
right.
you, we appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'll-
thank you,
I'll
sir.
let the men and women know.
Please do, and all staff, please go back and let them know, that our workers did a great job on that, and we appreciate it. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion from Alderman Milner with a second from Alderman Franklin to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. We'll take about